Good evening and salutations, my soap opera fans. So tonight's question is, what is Chase planning on General Hospital? Now, if you saw my review, you know that I sat there and said that for a guy who wants to talk about standing on principles, truth, justice, and the American way, the whole Captain America sort of vibe, where are you about to sit there and plant something on Michael? Are you about to sit there and do something illegal? Now, let's sit there and get in the roll call. Get this started because we got a lot of people. Ryan's in the chat. How you doing tonight? Black Mod's in the chat. How you doing tonight? Ronnie Ron's in the chat. How you doing tonight? Susan is in the chat. How you doing tonight? It's good to see you, Susan. Amy is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Sean is in the chat. How you doing tonight? C. Cadence in the chat. How you doing tonight? Lisa is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Giving him the pink slip. Yo, it's pink slip season. Okay, Sean, you know how it is. You gotta go in there hard. It's like, yo, it's time for all y'all to pack your shit. You got 30 minutes. Get the fuck up and out my goddamn office. I love that shit. Pink slip season. What's good, Cherry Ice Cream? How you doing tonight? You know how we do. Yes, thank you, Lisa. Make sure you do hit that like button because it does help. Thank you, Sean. This series is gonna be good. This series is gonna be good. I had a lot of fun with this series, so I think you'll like it. Pink slip season. Like, damn, that dude is an asshole. Uh, what's good, Tracy? What's good, Cherry Ice Cream? It's good to have y'all here tonight. Thank you for joining. Um, yeah, Pink slip season. I'm not gonna lie, Sean. I must have played that shit like 3 times. I was like, God damn, bro. I can't imagine being called into a meeting, getting yelled at, like getting chastised like that, and then being told you got 30 minutes to clear out your goddamn desk. 1 second, Ron. It's good to have you here, Susan. Thank you. Were you stunned by Chanel not wanting? No, I didn't really care about that, but I have my own issues with Chanel. Yeah, that dude. Oh, Sean, trust me, it's it's going to get good. It's going. I mean, I thought that scene was good, but let me 1 second, Ron. Just give me a second. Um, yeah, there's some good upcoming scenes that's going to be. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's good. It's good. So, but thank you, seriously, thank you, Sean, for watching. I do appreciate it. Um, Also, one other thing, I am working on season 2 of Miami Vice. Autumn says, I think Chase is going to get Michael arrested. Chase is so stupid. Like, if Michael shot Drew, which we all know he didn't, why in the hell would Michael be walking around with the key? Good point. It was good, Monique. Before I even get on that, Ryan, I'm gonna talk about my thoughts on Chanel. So, you know what, Ryan, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that comment in 1 second. Get to that comment in 1 second. Monique says, Dante getting on my nerves. If you don't want Rocco near Britt, request his community service be at another hospital because he will run into Britt because he volunteers at that same hospital. And yes, honestly, tell you the truth, yes. Shout out to you, Monique, because you sat there in the comments section. I was like, you're 100% correct. You are 100% correct. Is that, am I detecting a bit of sass there, Ryan? Now I'm going to give you a good answer, okay? Despite the level of sass that you're giving me. Um, Ryan, as you know, I judge all the characters, all of them. And I remember actually giving him a pat on the back, but Tracy says, I've been loving. Thank you. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. That was actually, honestly, tell you the truth, Tracy, it was a lot of fun to sit there and go into the 80s and stuff. Um, I chose Miami because like their fashion really pops out. You know, um, like you can tell what like how they're dressed and the shoulder pads and everything like that, the hairstyle. It was just like I had to go with the Miami one because like they bring the fashion. Like they bring the fashion. What's good, Kevin? But no, Ryan, I judge all the characters. Well, I don't call them making excuses, Ryan. I call them just giving my points and opinions. Thank you, Sean. But yeah, I have some other series that I'm going to be putting out, which will give me time to work on season two. So, I'm not gonna. I mean, I enjoy doing those series, but like the Miami stuff is actually really fun though. So thank you, Sean, and thank you, Tracy. Seriously. But no, seriously, thank you, Sean and Tracy. And I honestly tell you the truth, like Dante. Here's the thing, Dante was getting on my nerves because it's like, bro, you do realize how hypocritical you are, right? You're being upset, you're being all pissy. Answer that question in 1 second, Ryan. Um, my thing with Dante is that you're really coming at Brit for her past. And you're talking about how Brit is going to put Rocco in danger. You allow your son by Sonny Corentos and just standing by him, he can sit there and get a bullet to the head. I mean, if you don't believe that, ask Michael. You know, you talk about how you can't let go of 7 years, but yet you're cool. You let go of the fact that Sonny shot you when you was undercover. He shot you, and you let that go. Why do I care what Chase is planning? Well, Ryan, I'm gonna let you. Well, why don't you think about that for a hot minute? Do you think that I'm gonna give him a free pass? That I'm gonna be easy on him. I'm gonna be light on him. I'm not right. I'm not light on my favorite characters. I'm not light on my favorite characters, so there's no way I'm gonna be light on Chase. That's why. Yeah, I mean, seriously, CK, think about that. I'm like, bro, it, it was being extra. And I honestly told you, all she sat there and said was, "What's good, Jay Blue?" Um, all she said was that she was going to go to one of his hockey games. Dude's not there acting like Brit's not there trying to coach Rocco to call him mom. You know, Ryan. I think the disconnect with you that you think because what's good, Dolometics? You think because 1 minute I'm nice on someone, or I'm talking positive about someone that I'm going to simply stick with that. I'm not going to sit there and change my mind and be like, okay, well, I don't like this. I may be cool with that, but I don't like this. I may be cool with this, but I don't like that. And what's good, Dolomax? It's good to see you. Autumn says, um, yes, I did. I just saw it a little bit before I actually clicked on. So yes, it's actually still fresh in my mind, Tim. Autumn said, Albert, what's been going on with Chase lately? He's been annoying. Chase has been doing way too much lately. What's good, Darby? Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly Sean. I don't know if you watched my review before, Brian, but I did call Chase out for something coming at Jason about his parenting style. You know, I'm like, bro, you don't have kids, and yet you're gonna sit there and try to start judging him about him being a parent. Nah, bro. Domex, how do you feel about a couple you so? Here's thank you, Domex. You are a G. Um, I also got something to say to you too. But here's the thing, as long as they give him stuff to do, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with Lonnie and Eli coming back, giving them something to do. Um, Giving them something to do. I'm totally fine with that. I didn't like the fact that they were coming back for Christmas all the time, like just to come back for the holidays and then leave. Like, give them a function other than taking up oxygen and space. But if you give them stuff to do, I'm cool with it. I'm absolutely 100% cool with it. Um, Ron said, "Did you think that Kay was upset about Merlin and Roman because she got out?" Well, yes. She saw him hugging. This isn't the first time that she got upset seeing Roman like comfort Marlena. I think it was like maybe a couple weeks ago. She was like that, you know. No, because that's Kyrese's that was Kyrese's title. So I'm not taking Kyrese's title. That's what it is, though, Max. So I'm just gonna sit there and say this. I was working on some future videos today, and I think that one of my characters' images has the same image as the one that's in your, in the stories that you're writing. You know how you have like the images and stuff like that, um, for the different characters, and there was one character that I liked, but I remember there was another character that you had a whole image out of, and I'm like, I was looking at the videos I was doing today, and I was like, looks very similar to yours. Ron, I don't really care about Anna. But if you're happy, that's cool. Jackie says Chase needs to go. He's so obsessed with Willow. I think that's why I kind of like go with the whole back and forth. I have to go back. I have to look at him. I have to go back and look at him again. Um, then I'll let you know this weekend. But it was good, Kaiwan. Um, I just remember we sitting there doing it today, and I was just like, oh wow, okay, this actually looks pretty similar. One second, Ron. I'll get to your question. I just remember looking very similar today. But also on the bright side, I'm just gonna sit there and say these future videos are going to be really fucking good. Darby says, okay, I will be the bigger person to ask Kyrie to put that formal. Yeah, not like that's a Kyrie thing. What's good, timeless? And yet it goes back to Michael. Um, oh yeah, so I was gonna answer your question. Ryan says, "What's your thought on the memorial service of Stefano? Do you agree with Kristen wanting Rafe to?" I think it's just out of anger. I'm gonna be honest. I'm starting. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I didn't really. The memorial service is okay. I mean, like it's memorial service, so like, how exciting is it actually gonna be? You know. Um. So I wasn't like, jumping up for joy or anything like that, but I'm starting to get kind of over Kristen and her attitude. Like I get that, like, you know, I get it, Juice man. Filmix is out. The funny thing is, ever since you told me you like Hugo character, you inspired me to write. And yo, I mean, Filmix, you know me, you know how I love my morally great characters, right? So it's like the minute that I saw him and like I kind of read a little bit of his bio, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna like that guy. That the type of character that you don't want to sit there and really like cross. He may do something good. He may surprise you and do something good. He can be charming. He can be, um, you know, whatever. But at the same time, it's like he can also be, you know. Timeless says Dante and Curtis hold others to impossible stands, but never look at their own actions. Albert, do you think Curtis is the father? I. I mean, here's the thing, Timeless. I would want it to be Isaiah because I feel like it would give Isaiah a bigger role, right? Like if it's Curtis, then it's like, well, what is Isaiah still doing in the show? Like, I feel like he needs to have some sort of a more active role. So I would hope that it would be Isaiah. Timeless. Monique says Ridge in the previews have the nerve to tell Deacon and Taylor their relationship is over. Did you not leave her to be with Brooke? So who she dates or sleeps with is none of your business. Yeah, that's true. Also, I could have swore no, maybe it was Deacon. Deacon whooped Ridge ass the last time I checked. I think it was like 2 years ago, but I remember Deacon whooping Ridge's ass. I'm like, bro, I guess you don't forget about that ass whooping you done got like about a year ago. I can go Cobra Kai on his ass. I mean, honestly, yeah, it is definitely just him being an asshole. Um, Coming in here with his loud ass mouse and telling people what to do. Get your hands off of her, bro. Are you fucking serious? Like, honestly, tell you, I can't believe he said that. You don't need them to screw up the paternity like when they made Avery be Sonny's kid instead of Morgan's. Well, I feel like they probably knew ahead of time that like they were probably going to be firing Morgan. So in all reality, it wouldn't have really made a lot of sense for them to make her Morgan's child, just as they were probably already planning giving Byron the boot essentially. I mean, I say the boot, but I don't know if he chose to leave. I mean, you never know with these things. But, you know, it's just, I feel like it'll be stronger if they made Isaiah the father, you know? So that's how I look at it though. Um, have you written more stuff towards the book, towards the soap book? Like if I go on there, am I gonna sit there and see like actual like more stuff or whatever? Because I have to sit there and take some time aside or whatever to like really go over there and like read it and stuff. So oh my god, this is so good. But so what's your take on Chanel thinking that no one else is going to find out about? Um, I don't think that she doesn't think that no one else is going to not find out. She just wants it to be kept private as long as possible. Okay, all right, Ron. Here's what I'm going to sit there and say. What I didn't like about Chanel is that she couldn't be bothered to sit there and put her feelings aside to support Johnny, you know, to going to this whole memorial service. If the roles were reversed and he didn't want to go for whatever odd reason, she would have gave him hell. But she wants him. And I'm gonna get back to the Chase thing in 1 second. Um, she expects him to, not only did he okay her not going, but he supported her decision and wasn't mad at all. Like there was no like, wow, really? Like I get you don't like my dad, but you can put that aside from one day. Love my cat lady. Um, he couldn't sit there. She couldn't sit there and take her feelings aside. Like that's what annoyed me. You know, she couldn't do that. But I feel like it just kind of goes into this whole stereotype about just making the men on these soap operas so damn weak. Now, okay, all right. So let's go with Chase for a hot minute, right? Because I've been defending Chase, or I've been sitting there, seeing Chase's point of view, right? I understood why he wanted to defend Willow. Okay, I know people don't like Willow, blah 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 blah, whatever. But I understood why he wanted to sit there and defend Willow, right? So I get it. And honestly, tell you the truth, I was cool with it. Despite being exes and especially the way that Willow treated Chase, Chase is loyal. I think that now he's at a point where he's just being overboard. You know, you got a demotion. You're talking to Molly, which was, hell out of pocket and really unethical and everything. Molly shut that down. Brooklyn was like, yo, listen, Molly did you a favor. What do you do today? You decided to sit there and corner Dante and start asking him about the investigation. And then you started sitting there, even with Molly yesterday, you was like, yo, listen, it's a conflict of interest. It's a conflict of interest for you to sit there and be questioning Michael. I'm like, bro, it was a conflict of interest since you started doing this whole investigation with Willow. But you want to sit there and ignore that, but yet you want to sit there and chastise other people for their so-called conflict of interest. Dante was like, yo, listen, you asked me questions and you just got demoted for stepping outside the line. And here you are again. You didn't learn a goddamn thing. And how often have you sat there and saw Chase sit there and whine and bitch about his demotion when he sat there and said, well, no matter what the consequences is, I'm going to sit there and hold my head up high. And I'm going to sit there and take it like a man. I don't see you taking it like a man. So, like, I've been on both ends of the spectrum with Chase. Timeless. Okay. I am loving the Willow villain era. Okay, I am absolutely loving it. Listen, normally I would sit there and say Willow is not my type. But there's something about the fact that she is just being so I don't give a shit, so villainous. That is just downright fucking sexy. Like this is the Willow that I've been wanting since day fucking one. Then they saddled her up with Michael, and both of them shared a very boring existence for 2 years. Then Rory Gibson came in and he changed all that. And the story changed. Exactly, Sean. Like, listen. I mean, I've been known to have a thing for the bad girl, but you know, I'm here for it. You know, people ain't snit their, people. I don't see a lot of people who snit their calling her Weeping Willow now. What's good, Mika? Exactly, timeless. Yes, exactly. Time stands. I've been calling you timeless for like 40 fucking minutes. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Jage fan. Wino was actually good today, Mika. I remember when she threw hands with Nell and her flipping out when she found out her baby was really dead. I rock with that, Willow. Exactly. Exactly, dog. Willow fucking just became alive again. What's your thoughts on Kristen believing that Stefan is dead? Why wrong what Vivian is saying, even Chad and AJ look stunned? I don't even know how to answer that. Here's the thing. I don't know how to answer that, but I will sit there and say that, like, a lot of people don't believe that Stefan's dead. And if they actually killed him off screen, that's that is just fucking terrible. Yeah, that's actually going to be interesting. That's actually going to be interesting. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, Ryan. I'm glad you actually watched my review. The whole listen. When she started, here's the thing. I understand breaking points. I understand breaking points. Everything that she said. Using her, manipulating her children, hurting her children, using her as a weapon. You know, help screwing up her life. But my whole thing is like when she sat there and said, I had no way out. I call bullshit on that. Hell, even Michael, who, let's be honest, should not fucking like your ass at all, he would help you if nothing else but for those kids' sake. Okay? He would have helped you get out of that situation. Chase would have helped you get out of that situation. Nina would have helped you get out of that situation. Sonny would have helped you get out of the situation. She had tons of help. She had fucking lifelines. Okay? You talk about, oh, well, you manipulated me and this, that, and the third. Well, girl, you ain't fucking stupid. Like, you ain't brain dead. Like, you don't have a mental disability. So let's not sit there and play that bullshit. Like, no. Listen, as much as people don't like Drew, he's still fucking human. Let's not sit there and try to act like you didn't have a choice. And as I always sit there and say, despite how many people sit there and object or get upset, as bad as Drew is, there are much worse people, even on um GH. Cat Lady says, is Patty a good person or a villain? Yeah, I need my Y&R fans to answer that because I don't know who Patty is. Nick says, "Do you think Drew will get redeemed?" Um, I mean, I think it's possible that he can be redeemed. I don't know if he's going to get redeemed. I think that people just enjoy him as a villain. I think that he's the villain that General Hospital needs right now. Darby says Patty is crazy chick who was also Paul's sister. Well, here's the thing, Ryan. I don't mind people get actually. Well, Ryan, it's the point. Well, let me put it this way, Ryan. It's the point because I say it's the point. Okay, let's just be honest. It's the point because I say it's the point. Um, and I never really care if people get upset at what I say. Um, because what I say is going to stand regardless. I've seen villains, I've seen characters way more worse than Drew. That makes Drew look like fucking Santa Claus. Okay? So, and Ryan, just to add on to that, that's not giving Drew a pass. But I'm going to sit there and say, despite people getting upset, there are worser characters than Drew. Hell, Luke is a worser character than Drew. If we're going to sit there and go there, and it's not really a so what thing. It's what I said. You don't have to believe it or like it, but I'm going to say what I'm going to say. So, um, I mean, it's a soap opera, so they can pretty much kind of bring anybody back from the dead. But like, I won't really be too happy with it. Okay, all right. Let me screenshot that. Thank you, Tom. All right, I got it. Thank you. Um, I was gonna sit down. So yeah, that's my whole thing with Chase. I was wondering when he was gonna get to that question again. Listen, I'm gonna sit there and say this shit again since we're. I'm gonna answer your other question, Ron. I thought for I wanted Taylor and Brooke to hook up. I wanted Taylor and Brooke to hook up so fucking bad, mostly to piss off a lot of people. Um, so like that's where I am. You know, Steffi and her ultimatums. Because here's the thing, Steffi. mm, I can't. What's what's wrong with Taylor and Brooke? I mean, can you think of two women that are better suited to be together after fighting over the same man for like a whole year? Michelle said Chase needs to stay on GH. Michelle, do you think that Chase is the best actor on GH right now? Queen Jess. We got Queen. We got Queen Cat Lady and Queen Jess. Now, personally, I'm gonna sit there and tell you my favorite character on General Hospital right now. Okay, good, Michelle. Just checking. My listen. Let me tell you something. The best character on General Hospital right now is Willow Tate. Okay? Willow Tate is literally the best character on the show right now. So because they're besties, they should just take it to the next level. Is that what happens when you're best friends with someone? Sean says my two favorites are Jason and Willow. Willow Tate. For right now, yeah, yeah. Listen, maybe at some point when they decide to like write Trina and not just be all judgy and just attitude. Listen, like I said, I understood that she was looking out for Kai, but I'm like, yo, listen, let me tell you something. You don't start demanding stuff from a man. Just says Willow has been hella interesting. I'm glad we got an explanation on why she did what she did, but it still doesn't make sense. I mean, because she has so many other lifelines that she could have chose to sit there and use besides just straight up shooting him. Oh, absolutely, I was. Absolutely, Ryan. I was 100% annoyed with that because I understood her heart was in the right place, but like I'm not a fan of the bossing him around, right? Like she married him. I'm like, girl, it's like, yo, what are you doing? I can't. I understood why Kai wanted to stay. It's like, listen, I could have stopped this whole thing by not shushing you when you wanted to go to the police. So I need to sit there and do this to try to make up for things. What's good, Jonathan? So yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Some of these scenes though, I gotta sit there and just kind of fucking wonder, like okay, the scene with I don't know, Ron, you and your reactions. The scene with Justine and Jordan. This seemed like a scene that not only was it not needed or necessary, but it just was like, Justine, what are you doing? You're coming across as a sunny apologist. You're asking Jordan about an old case that she hasn't worked in years. And then you want to sit there and say, well, it seemed like I kind of like rushed to judgment or whatever. And I'm like, are you chastising her on the way that she handled her investigation like maybe 4 something years ago? I thought the whole point was for you to sit there and try to ensnare Sonny into this trap that you've been sitting there trying to set for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. Just in the sense, like, I don't know why Mike was still dating her dirty ass. The short answer is that um, I was going to sit there and say he's a man with needs, but honestly, to tell you the truth, it's not like he can't get somebody else. Like, if you're going to be honest, um, Johnson says Leslie needs to get a life. Leslie, here's my whole thing. I feel that like when Leslie does these things, there are certain fans that love Leslie. They love her antics. They find her to be um, what do the older people call this? Oh, a hoot. Especially after today. Listen, I'm surprised that Christina didn't sit there and chastise Jacinda for giving her number to Boyles. I'm like, Christina, you know that she's dating your brother, and she just gave her number out to her former client. Yeah, you're right. They haven't actually showed those two in a while. I haven't showed those two in a while. Oh, honestly, okay. So for the Beyond the Gates fans, we're going to get a little bit. That's the thing, Jess. When I saw the look on her face, I was like, okay, cool. I'm glad you have the same reaction I have. But then she's like, well, I look forward to my brother proving you wrong. I'm like, really? Because like if I had a sister and I was dating somebody, and my sister just saw her give her number to somebody else, what? Tom says, do you think Jordan was paired with Curtis again to keep her on screen? Her storyline with Sitwell hasn't gone. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea. I have no idea why. I have no idea why they put her back with Curtis. I really don't, especially after the way that she was treated. They could have found other reasons to keep her on screen. Like they really could have. Like that doesn't. Darby, I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, so no, like I said, I have no idea what you're talking about, Darby. But just that I would have went off and told my brother. Exactly. That's always like, wait, what? All right. So beyond the gates, one of the things that I've been okay. Well, one of the many things I've been annoyed with. Jacob has this undercover mission, right? This whole blood ring thing. Okay. All right, that's cool. What's good, Lashanta? We haven't seen anything so far, right? So it's hard for me to sit there and get invested into what Jacob's doing, which sounds like it's cool, this whole investigation, undercover thing, or whatever. But like, if you're not going to show the scenes, then what the fuck are we doing? Now they're going to show a little bit on Monday just to be like, oh, well, let's shut you up. But if you don't actually show us the scenes of this undercover stuff, what the fuck are we doing at this point? Like seriously, what are we doing? I get that it's not the '90s, the '80s, or whatever when the soaps had budgets, right? We haven't seen any of it. Just it's like you know, remember those poker games in the back room of Curtis's club with Miss Wu and everything like that. Remember how we couldn't see any of those? And I don't think that they were super exciting, but I would have liked to have seen at least a couple of them. That seems better, and yet we're not going to sit there and see any of it. I'm sorry, except for Monday. So you got that. And I have no idea what it's about, Jonathan. Like, if it's not about budget, then I'm going to be honest. What is it about? Ron, because storyline wise, it just wouldn't make sense to me. Here's the thing, Jess. I'm going to be honest. I used to find them exhausting because I find Chelsea to be exhausting. I find them to be laughable at this point. Okay, she was going to, after 6 months, maybe of dating this woman, she was going to move to Denmark. Okay, I'm gonna get to that question in 1 second, Darby. She was going to move to Denmark. And then at the last minute, she decides not to. I was like, first of all, why are you going to uproot your whole life for a woman that you met 6 months ago? That y'all been having problems back and forth, and you think it's a good idea for you to move all the way there for a whole fucking year? And then she's like, well, I can't do it because my grand and stuff like that. Okay, fine. Hey, let's sit there and get married. What? Let's get. Oh my God. No, Ryan, I don't. I don't. I don't plan on watch. I honestly told you, I wouldn't even have the time, even if I wanted to. But TK said, yeah, Chelsea and Madison are not interested enough. There's no drama with them. There's a lot of reasons why they're not interested, but that's one of many. Now, Darby says, do you ever notice that in all Ron's favorite girl hookups, at least one woman is Asian? You know, I didn't. Oh, well, he just answered it because he likes Asian women. Yeah, knock you for that. No, Lashanta, I didn't do a bowl recap. No, I'm talking about it now, though. If you want to talk about it. See, Jesse, this is why this is what. Well, also this is why you should actually have a YouTube channel. But yes, honestly, tell you the truth, you just said that whole shit for me. Have a night time. Time stands still. Yeah, I'm just gonna call you time. But yes, have a good night time. Have a good night, Sean. I just think beyond the case sucks at writing relationships. All of them suck. Yes, Sean. We're gonna actually have fun. We're gonna. Well, I'm not gonna, obviously spoil it, but it's gonna be fun. I just, I mean, the thing is, Ryan, I'm not. I mean, also, I'm not a huge sports fan. But like, I just feel like right now, I'm watching way too much stuff to even like try to watch anything else. Lashanta says, I knew Rich was going to have a fit about Taylor. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it's funny. We were just talking about that. I'm like, Rich, you know, I forgot. Somebody said this in the comment section. I don't know if it was Cat Lady or somebody, but they were like, yo, listen, you chose to leave her for Brooke. You don't get to sit there and tell Taylor what to do. Ron, because of their history. Because of their history, I'm surprised they even are talking or in speaking terms. Taylor tried to kill me. Now they're supposed to be fucking besties. Like none of that shit makes sense to me, Ron. Um, but like, bro, listen, you okay? Not only did you leave Taylor for Brooke, you also gave her broken heart syndrome, and you're gonna walk in there and start acting like a fucking caveman, telling her, "Get your hands off of her." Are, are you out of your goddamn mind? What's good, LaShawn? So like I just and again, last time I checked, I'm pretty sure Deacon whooped that ass. And I really do hope that he goes Cobra Kai. No, Deluxe. Why is Chase on drugs? Sure about what, Darby? Susan says, I just can't stand Stephanie and Reggie anymore. Stephanie, again, her giving her mother an ultimatum is just out of pocket. Because my whole thing is like, even if you do sit there and get what you want, that person's going to be resentful with you. And there's a certain level of like, oh, I have this power, the universe revolves around me sort of kind of attitude. And I'm not a huge fan of that, you know? Well, I guess time will tell, Ron. Yes. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how I feel about the fact that she just left like that. I don't know how I feel about the fact that like if Noah leaves the show, part of me is like with Y&R. Here's the thing: as much as I like Y&R, they tell very piss poor stories at times. Okay, Noah. There's so many times that Noah should have been there, and he wasn't there. You bring him in for the whole Matt Clark thing, right? But then once Matt Clark is pretty much kind of handled off screen, it's kind of like, okay, well, are you going to give Noah an actual story? Are you going to give Sienna actual story? No, we're gonna throw them aside. We're gonna toss them aside because we got to make sure that we are putting as much of a spotlight on Victor getting back his fortune and having the writers convince us that the poor the Newmans are going to sit there and lose everything. Kane is the bad guy. Even though that Victor used that damn program on Kane, somehow when Kane does it to Victor, it's the fucking like. I don't. Why doesn't it work for you, Susan? Huge fan. What do you think of New Noah? I don't think he's bad. Um, it's funny, Ryan, because Rory Gibson. I remember Rory Gibson as Noah, and they didn't give him much to do at all. Seems like they're giving this new Noah a little bit more to do. So I don't hate him. He's okay. I think if he's because he's the guy who's playing him is a good actor. I just don't think that the writers love to really invest in other characters so much. They have always sidelined his character to me. Yeah, and like here's the thing: they could have sat there and been like, "Yeah, no, I got you, Susan." That's what a lot of people thought. That's what a lot of people said. Yeah, I saw it, Jonathan. I did. There's something in that preview that I'm not a fan of. That they're doing again, and I am so not here for it. I just and that's the thing, CK. I don't think that the problem is, CK. That's not even the worst part. No, it's Gwen and Xander. That's not even the worst part, CK. The worst part for me is Kyle, asking Claire to go out on a date. No, okay, I'm gonna sit there and say it now because I want to kind of get back to the whole Kyle thing. The thing that's annoying me is that Gwen is sitting there trying to be with Xander again, right? Like, you know, I don't know who these people could be paired up with. Okay, I'm tired of Xander eventually picking Gwen as a consolation prize. I am tired of Gwen constantly devaluing herself to be with Xander, knowing that in his heart of hearts, he doesn't really want to be with her. He wants to sit there and be with Sarah. And that's the part that just annoys me. It's the same shit that they do every single fucking year. And I can't. I can't. I have to tell you, the truth. Okay, here's the thing, Jace fan. It's a different song, right? So, like, for me, it doesn't bother me that the actors played mother and daughter. But for people who watch Days of Our Lives, they can't get that image out of their head. See, that's the thing, Jace fan. I would sit there and say, um, that's one of the downsides of like watching a lot of different soaps is that you see them as one person, right? You see them as one person. I'm sorry, yeah, mother and son. Thank you, Jonathan. Mother and son. So like, okay, thank you, CK. It's possible, GH fan. Um, Ron, people can read your comment, so let them read your comment. I'm not. I don't feel like I need to sit there and ask the chat when they can just read your comment. Here's my thing, CK. I haven't liked Kyle in a hot minute because, he just came across as an entitled prick. I like the fact that Kyle stood up for himself. Okay. Because Claire was like, I don't know if I want to be with you. I don't know if I want to be with Holden. So she pretty much had two guys that they're trying to compete for her love and affection. Kyle had enough and was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not going to sit there and play this game. I have too much going on in my own family. I'm sorry things didn't work out. It was a great fucking scene. Okay. Because delusional Claire fucking woke up that day. And I was like, you know what? Listen, this is the first time in a long time I actually have fucking respect for him. Because he was not going to play that game. So what does the writers decide to do? Oh, let's just regress the character, go backwards, and ask her out for a date. And what does Claire Berry decide to do? She decides she wants to go to Holden to LA. Now she wants to go to LA to sit there and get some dirt on Audra and really don't give a damn about Holden, even though she knows that he is tied up in this mess. So it's like you had the character. He finally stood up for himself, and you decided to just have him walk his ass backwards. Like, what the fuck? That's a good question, Ron. I will have to sit there and think about that. Yeah, I apologize to you, Jonathan. Unfortunately, I have nothing positive to sit there and say about Sophia, and I don't necessarily feel like being a super Debbie Downer about her, or a super Debbie Downer in general. But like, you ever just, Jonathan, you ever just got to a point where you just got so annoyed with a situation that you don't have energy to even sit there and really like, you know, react to it anymore? Kyle is an entitled jerk, right? Like Kyle is an entitled jerk. Yes. Yes, he's an entitled jerk. He has his good moments at times, right? Like, here's the thing. Spencer Cassadine had his good moments at times. Okay. I just like the fact that he was like, you know what? I'm not going to play this game. I'm not going to sit there and be trying to fight for your affection. I have too much shit going on in my own life. No, 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 no. We're not doing this. Now, I don't know if people watch The Young and the Restless today, but I think if, like Victor said, that um, Lily was in on a plan of faking her kidnapping. One second, GH fan. Lily was in on a plan of Victor pretending to kidnap her and her kids. So I'm just like, if you use your own kids as pawns and you use his affection for your safety, just to get back at him, any sort of respect that I had for Lily fucking evaporated. Here's I no I, okay, Ryan. I would sit there and say this: Trina brought out Spencer's good qualities. Okay, because in reality, she made Spencer tolerable. Because I'm gonna be honest, I did not like his ass. I couldn't stand him. I pretty much loathed the character. His breathing alone was just enough to just set me off, right? But she brought out some good qualities in him. All right. I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna add to that comment, Jonathan. Yeah, it was just a character I pretty much kind of just loathed, honestly, Ryan. Ron says, why aren't we seeing her mother, Amy Choi, on screen? Also, are you shocked that she's not even bothered to visit? I mean, honestly, tell you the truth, Ron, it depends on the actress schedule. Maybe like there's tons of reasons why. I couldn't actually pinpoint an exact reason for you, but like, it could be the actress and the schedule, She might be seeing her off screen. Like there's tons of different reasons why. Jonathan, here's what I'm gonna sit there and say about that, about the whole Stefan thing. I love Days of Our Lives, right? If they did the unthinkable to me as far as killing this character off screen, shame on Days of Our Lives. Because I like the show, okay? I speak very highly of it. But if you're going to kill a character off screen, what the fuck are you doing? Now, I don't know. I'll put it this way. I don't want to believe that they killed the character off because I feel like that would be just a really shitty thing, very uncreative, very lazy, you know, very fucking lazy. So I don't want to believe that for the sake of the fact that I don't want to believe that Days of Our Lives is stooped that low to killing a character off screen. Remember when GH actually killed Michael's girlfriend off screen? I don't remember what her name was. Oh, Abby. Remember when they killed Abby off screen? And thank you, Lashante. They killed Luke off screen. Um, and that's the thing. Like, seriously, GH man, I have my issues with Spencer and other things. They killed Luke off screen. Yes, the disgruntled employee. Yep. I mean, listen, I'm not here to sit there. Like, if people like Spencer, that's cool, right? He just wasn't the character that I really liked or respected or cared for or you know or anything. I'm gonna be honest. But hey, listen, everyone likes their characters and characters that they like and characters that they don't like and all that jazz. Darby says that Rafe and Eli and FBI have the right to arrest Vivian in the form of catching even. I don't think they did. I mean, honestly, tell you the truth, I would sit there. Have a good night, GH fan. Have a good night. I'll see you next week. No, Darby, they were definitely out their jurisdiction. But Vivian allowed them in there so this way she could set up Dimitri. You know, it. I'm gonna be honest, CK. Well, yes, for a legendary character, for them to kill or scream, Basuda. You know, if they would have kept him on, he would have passed away in real life, and then they would have had to kill him off screen. Cool, fine, but like they should have did that instead of just killing him off. That was. It just made me wonder. Like, was that like a dig at the actor for leaving the show? Like, it just makes me wonder. But like I said, I just remember when he killed off Abby off screen. Probably by the time it's too late. Probably by the time that she hurt someone, you know. Maxie's back. Yay. Okay. All right, I'm done. Um, again, the whole Nathan and Lulu can't be together because of fucking Maxie. And I've read some of the comments, by the way, which I'm not, despite me drinking, I'm not gonna sit there and be an asshole. Um, but I just think there are reasons for you know not being together is just fucking stupid. Okay, well, what is that? Okay, maybe I'm kind of lost, but what does that mean now? Johnson says Days killed John Black on screen despite Drake Hogan passing in real life. So what does that mean? I'm sorry, like I know like my other comment, but like I'm just trying to connect the two. I don't remember sitting there saying I agree, Ron. It sounded like you're putting words in my mouth. Um, so I mean, does that mean like they should have killed off like Luke Spencer on screen since he was like do the same thing, like not show him sort of kind of thing or whatever, like take a page out of their playbook in a sense. I think that the reasons of why they can't be together are just fucking stupid to me. I'm gonna be honest. I think they're just dumb. They don't really make any sense. Like Maxie is with okay. Okay, let me just I'm gonna sit there and preface this again. Maxie is with Spinelli. They have a family together, right? Her waking up and be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that you're with Nathan, my husband, who has been dead for 7 years." Like, how does that even like how does those words even come out of your mouth? You're gonna be upset that Lulu got with Nathan, even though that like you're with Spinelli. What the fuck does that sit there and say about your relationship with Spinelli? I can imagine being with somebody and then them having so much of a blow up, so much of a fucking cow that her friend is with her, um, you know, or ex-husband or whatever that they haven't been together with in 7 years. Do you understand that that would sit there and makes Nelly feel like shit? And that's the thing, like, people are so concerned with Maxie's feelings. No one is sitting there thinking about how Spinelli would sit there and feel. It's just the poor Maxie show, but like Spinelli's sitting there hanging in the wind, like, yo, listen, we got a thing going on. We got a whole family unit going on, and you upset with Lou because she's with with Dante? I mean with Nathan? You really shouldn't actually care that much. Like that was just so I yeah, Ron. I make sure that I have an extra glass of wine when I gotta sit there and watch Sophia go all nutso and everything. There's just I'm gonna be honest. There's just things that I don't really care for. Because I'm gonna be honest, I said this before, I'll sit there and say this again. The actress that's playing Sophia can't act. Um every scene just comes across as annoying at this point. And yeah. And I want you to tell you the sad thing is though, Ron, I don't want to feel like that. Right? Like I don't want to feel like when I'm watching a scene, it's like swallowing glass. I don't want to feel like that, right? But I can't get into Sophia character. I can't get into like, oh man, this is gonna be good. It's gonna be so great because like I don't care enough about the character. You know. The sad thing is though, as annoying as like Sophia could be, she's nowhere near as annoying as some of the characters on Beyond the Gates. You know. Yeah, I'm still not happy with Eva and her throwing a temper tantrum. Her throwing a temper tantrum with Isaiah over a simple joke. And then even today, she's talking about, oh well, I have a lot of trust issues. I was like, well then go see a therapist then. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, we get this character on the show, and here's the thing: I can see it from both sides, right? Because like, an actor comes on, an actress comes on, they come on there to serve the story, whatever that story is, right? She was there to sit there and play Matt McCall's wife. She did that. Matt McCall is not on the show anymore, right? So it's like, yeah, they could write for her, but like, if they're kind of done with that part of the story, then they're done with that part of the story. And as annoyed as I am for the fact that they brung Noah in, did this whole banish thing, whole car accident thing, him being in love with an older woman thing, his family not liking a thing. He pretty much is going to go to LA to sit there and find her. That means that he's going to be off the show again. And so for a lot of people, it's like, what was even the point of you bringing him in? Have us invest in this character, and then you just ship his ass right back off. Oh wait, because we gotta sit there and be dealing with um Mariah and her crazy ass. I think when it comes towards Xander, she tends to lower herself. She tends to be okay with being a consolation prize. And as somebody who's seen it multiple times, I'm pretty much over it. But, these writers are going to do what these writers are going to do. Well, that's an interesting point. Um, Lashanta says Liz likes Sarah as soon as Rick does something, she's out. Yeah, Jonathan, I do. And I'll sit there and say this again. As long as they have them in meaningful stories, I'm totally fine with it. My whole issues when they used to come back every now and then. It didn't really do anything for me. The fact that he's with Rafe, he's doing the whole cop thing, investigating or whatever. Great. As long as you give them great stories, I'm totally fine with it. I wasn't a huge fan of Eli and Lonnie, but that wasn't my era when I was watching the show. Just give them things to do, and I will be happy. Sure, Ron, they should bring Jerry Prentice back. Well, here's my whole thing. All right, so here's I said this in my memory stream, and I'll sit there and say this again. And this is a conversation that me and Jonathan had. I feel like more people are so against Chase. They're so angry at Chase. They feel that they're like, well, Chase is wrong and stuff like that. It's like I feel like as an audience member, it's very easy for us to sit there and say, well, Chase is very wrong because we fucking know that Chase is wrong. We've seen what Willow did. So we know that Chase is actually backing the wrong horse. But from the General Hospital universe or whatever, he doesn't know that. So yeah, when he finds out, yeah, it's gonna suck or whatever. But like, it's like people sit there saying, "Well, he should have knew better." Like, it's very easy to sit there and say that in hindsight. But how often have people sat there and made a mistake or backed the wrong person, and then it blows up in their face, or it's not what they wanted or didn't expect? It's very easy to sit there and say, "Oh man, I wish I wouldn't have believed that person. I wish I wouldn't have dated that person." It's very easy to sit there and say that. You know, I feel like it's very short sighted in all reality. I do, but you know, I mean, Ron, I never really remember Stephanie actually being a good character, so I don't know. Well, yeah, Lashanta, that's the word on the street. Um, but again, I'm gonna sit there and say this again. Um, there was people that kept sitting there saying, well, Jocelyn's going to be kidnapped, and Jocelyn isn't a good agent, and Jocelyn's going to sit there and screw up the mission and everything like that. And the funny part is that like Jocelyn proved a lot of people fucking wrong because the mission was a success. She didn't get kidnapped. She found good fucking intel. You know, like listen, and I'm not the biggest Jocelyn fan. But for a lot of people that sat there and was like, well, Josh is gonna screw up and stuff like that, I feel like y'all was actually kind of fucking eating some damn crow. I don't know, Ron. I mean, I have to sit there and think about it. I don't. Like it's very, I don't know. I can't endorse that. I can't sit there and say like Brad Bell doesn't like the characters. I don't know why he writes the characters the way that he writes them, but you know, I'm not in Brad Bell's head. I'm not in Brad Bell's head. I don't know what he's thinking, so I can't sit there and say that. It's just assuming stuff. That's right. Jada definitely is definitely going to fucking apologize. Um, what's good, Krista? And here's again my whole thing with Liam, right? From Days of Our Lives, and Paulina. That whole exchange just annoyed me. Like, listen, I'm glad that the actor was like really like happy with working with I can't remember this chick's name, but like act with the actress that plays Paulina. But like Paulina just annoyed me in that whole thing. Like Paulina, you gonna sit there and act like you've never made a mistake. And not little mistakes, like a big fucking mistake. Like you literally sat there and lied to your other daughter for years. But you wanna sit there and come at Liam because like he worked with a guy for money and stuff like that. From somebody who has money their whole life, I don't think you remember what it's like to not have money and to be sitting there trying to take care of a kid. The guy was literally like, I don't like to sit there and make excuses, but the guy was literally desperate. And she talking about, oh, I want my pound of flesh. I was like, girl, shut up. Like, you've made plenty of mistakes on this fucking show. Since I've seen you on this show, you've made plenty of mistakes. But you want to sit there and try to act like your shit don't stink. So I'm like, I honestly tell you, I had a huge fucking problem with that. Like, I did. Run for the 47,000 times because they're dingbats. And I don't care for dingbats. Okay? I don't care for dingbats. Thank you, Susan. Fucking Price Town. I was like, girl, you came in there, you made friends with everyone, you was gonna screw over every single person there. But you want to sit there and start trying to come at Liam sideways. Like, yo, listen, I get it. He didn't help the situation with Theo. But I'm like, you sit there acting like he was the one that was injecting people with the needle and forcing them in the crib or whatever, you know? And again, my whole thing, like it's about making bad choices and mistakes and stuff like that, and understanding where you are and what your mindset is at the time. Her mindset was about money and power. So she didn't really care about those people. Yeah, she apologized and begged and groveled and stuff like that, but it's been so long she kind of forgot that her own shit stinks. She forgot what it was like to sit there and make a bad choice and feel like shit for it and getting other people in her face. Other people in her face. So like I what I'm saying? Like, listen, Paulina kinda annoys me on a good day with just her personality, but I can deal with it, you know? But when she starts acting all fucking, well, let's be honest, like a fucking hyena, that's where it's just like, that's where it becomes like a semi chore to sit there and watch, right? Like it's been a semi chore to sit there and watch this whole Stephanie and Alex coming at Jeremy, assuming he's the kill, assuming he's the stalker and everything. You know, it's been a semi chore. Okay, Ron, that's good that you said that. Um, but like, I don't know. Like I said, it's also like when I watch this show, I'm watching at like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, whatever. And this is when the caffeine is just like starting to kick in. So like my tolerance isn't exactly there from jump. I don't know, Ron. A very odd question to sit there and ask, but okay. I don't know. Ron, that Steve isn't exactly the super spy that he thinks he is, but it also just prolongs this whole stalking storyline, and it just means that they're going to sit there and blame Jeremy. Like Jeremy did it, this, that, and the third. Now, one of the things that I found interesting was when JJ and Julie were going at it, you know, because Julie was like, listen, I'm gonna file like a harassment suit on the police for there, like, bothering Jeremy. And JJ was like, listen, you have a history of there thinking that people are innocent when they're not. Um, and brung up what is his name? Fuck. Nick Fallon. There was a point where Julie was really sticking up for Nick Fallon. Nick Fallon was thank you, Jonathan. Nick Fallon was kind of a fucking monster. Did a lot of duplicitous stuff. And she was not there standing by him. So JJ was like, listen, you have a history of not there essentially backing the wrong orders. And Julie was like, well, that's a low blow. It's like, no, it's not a low blow. That's fucking accurate. That's history. You may not want to sit there and admit that you backed the wrong horse, but you backed the wrong fucking horse. And Nick Fallon was going to do an unspeakable act to Gabby. But I did like the fact that Julie was like, listen, if you're going to sit there and continue to act like that, you don't need to be in this house. AKA pack your shit and get the fuck out. Um, it's funny, because I'm just not there thinking about days and stuff like that. Um, yeah, that's one of the reasons that Gio and Emma rescue from Darwin's lab. Um, totally forgot what I was going to say now. No, Ron, I don't. Um, oh, here's the thing. As much as I used to sit there and get on Chanel with the whole, her constantly sitting there calling her mother mama, Eve is like 1,000 times worse. Eve is 1,000 times fucking worse. And I swear sometimes they just bring in Derek just to piss people off. The sad thing is that Derek may actually be right about his hunch, even though I don't normally believe in hunches. He may actually be right that Grayson isn't exactly a good dude. I mean, hell, he literally sat there and said that to Ashley today. But of course, Ashley's like, "Oh, I'm so tired of being a good girl." I'm like, okay. And then during your makeout session or whatever, he decides to sit there and leave. Looks at his phone, doesn't say what it is, and just like, "Oh, I gotta go." I'm like, listen, I get that Derek is still a fucking loser and just annoying in general, but like he may not exactly be wrong about Grayson. Um, but yeah, Eva is way worse than Chanel. Was the constant mama, mama. I'm like, and I know that Domex sat there and said that like it's a southern thing or whatever, but like it's an annoying. Most of the stuff in that show is just fucking annoying. Oh, um, I think that I still have my Beyond the Gates fans in here. Also, let me know if you're Beyond the Gates fans. You know you're here right now. Okay, the chick that played Anastasia, which by the way I could have swore, and let me know if I'm wrong. The actress on Beyond the Gates that plays um Anastasia used to be on a show called A Different World, like on a sitcom called A Different World. Anyway, um, Anastasia was like way over the top. Like I've seen soap divas and people going back and forth and stuff like that, but like she was going fucking extra. Okay, thank you, CK. She was going fucking extra. Like it was, I felt like it was meant to sit there and like boil people's blood. With her coming at Anita like that. Granted, Anita is not acting like my favorite character or anything like that, but I was like, God damn, girl! Like, first of all, the fact that they were staring at Anita because of her haircut and everything like that, I was like, okay, this is just already a problem. The minute they started talking about this whole debutante bullshit or whatever, she walked over there and was like, well, Samantha's not going to be a debutante because my thoroughbred. I was like, did you just okay, lady, did you just refer your granddaughter? Thank you, Susan. Okay, good. Did you just refer your granddaughter as a fucking horse? She was literally going over the top. Here's the thing. I've watched soap operas for years. Oh yeah, absolutely, Jonathan, in the worst possible way. But she was going way over the top. Like I've seen my fair share of like back and forth diva exchanges and everything. Yes, have a night, Ron. Um, but like she was like going way beyond that. I was like, girl, that woman was horrible to me. Exactly, Susan. Like, and that's the thing, Susan. Like, imagine, and that's the thing. Like, when I sat there and I watched that scene, I was like, because I'm gonna be honest. Usually, when I watch a show, I'm usually on my phone. I'm looking up stuff. I'm doing other videos or whatever. When she walked over to Anita, it was like, well, that's not gonna happen, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. I was like, I had to get off my phone from me. I was like, yo, now I'm gonna sit there and say something, and it's gonna sound bad. But part of me was like, damn, woman, did you have like bitch for breakfast this morning? Like, I, she was way over the top from the jump. I, I honestly felt like that was a scene to literally make the fans' blood boil. They're not even family. Like, Samantha's not even your blood family or whatever. I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. Did you just literally insult her granddaughter right in front of her face? Like Jonathan said, don't ask if that lady was out of pocket. She was, oh, there you go. I was like, yeah, she was like literally over the top. like I said, I've seen confrontations back and forth, or whatever, insults flown here and there, whatever. Okay, fine, whatever. But like, she was going out her way, and the scene lasted way longer than I thought it was gonna last. I literally sat there, looked at my phone. I was like, "No, is this chick still sniffing going at Anita at this point? Like really? I don't know. I just who says those things, right? Exactly. Like Jonathan said, Anastasia is the definition of privilege. But all right, you know what? Fuck it. Because I'm drinking, anything that I sit there and say right now, I'm not responsible for. Now, it's just my. It was what exactly though, man. That scene got my attention. I'm gonna sit there and say something that, well, again, I'm not responsible for, and well, if anything, I'm just gonna blame Jess for that. Maybe it's just yeah. But part of me just kind of felt like, you know, how do I sit there and say this? Part of me just kind of felt like they wanted to sit there and show a scene where a black woman who had money, privilege, and status could also be over the top. Like I don't know, like when people sit there and associate like privilege and bougie and everything like that, they usually sit there and always associate with some white woman, right? And it's almost like they went out their way to sit there and try to be like, well, you know what? Listen, this isn't even a colored thing. Because even a black woman can sit there with enough money, status, and power and whatever, can also be just as rude, nasty, and bougie as any other woman, as any other white woman. I don't know. That's what yeah, it's really sad, Jonathan. I'm gonna still go with fucking Leslie. Honestly, that's the thing. You need to come down to the south to see the mean, snotty black elitists. Yeah. But that's what I was sitting there saying. Like, I felt like they went over the top. Like, you know what? Listen, you know, enough money and status and everything like that. Can they even have a woman of color, sit there and be the nastiest version that they can possibly be? I don't know. Like maybe I'm not gonna lie, it kind of just came to my head right now, but I was like, I feel like that's what they were going for. Because that scene lasted way longer than it needed to go. It lasted way longer than it needed to go. So I don't know. I felt like there was a reason for that. And honestly, told you, Jonathan, there's a couple of things. While Anastasia was rude, nasty, all that other stuff, that was definitely bad, right? We see Leslie more, unfortunately for me. Susan says it was so cringe. uh, It- that yes, exactly, though. Like she didn't just because here's the thing. Again, they were staring at her, just looking at her, right? She walked like I was like, God damn, girl, you got a set of balls there, girl. Like she walked right up to her and then just started just going right off the rip and being like, "Boy, there's not a damn thing you can do about it." I was like, um, that sounds like fighting words. You know, the sad thing is. Well, it's not really sad, but there's a point where Anita gets up and she does this hand gesture, like she's about to sit there and hit her. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Jonathan, I know that Susan Lucci was in one. I think it's on YouTube. Um, I can figure out what I was going to say now. Um, but I honestly tell you, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like sometimes that's the only way you can sit there and deal with somebody like that. The only way you can sit there and deal with somebody like that is by fucking humbling them. You know, now I'm not going out my way to sit there and advocate violence because YouTube policies and all that bullshit. But like, in reality, sometimes that's how you gotta sit there and deal with somebody like that. You know, because you can sit there and say everything to them, and they can sit there and act like they're not phased. They're already giving you the worst version of themselves. What more could you sit there and say to that person that they're not already projecting? Anastasia says some really nasty things to Anita. Okay? So it's not one of those things you can sit there and say, well, I think you're this, you're that, you're the third. Because she's giving you the worst version of her. Worse than anything that you can sit there and say. So I feel like in that situation, you gotta sit there and be like, all right, cool. I'm not gonna handle you with words. I'm just gonna sit there and stomp the shit out of you. I'm telling you, I just keep thinking, well, Anita new hair is perfect for fighting. All she needs to do is Johnson says, do you think Deacon will leave Sheila? I think that Sheila's gonna find out. I think that Sheila's gonna find out about Deacon. And then she's gonna start going all like fucking psychopath and shit. Um, I don't think that she's gonna. I don't think she's gonna necessarily leave him or he's gonna leave her. But she's gonna find out, and then they're gonna be playing the game of fuck around and find out. That's what I think. That's what I think. I'm glad Nita clapped back at Anastasia before she said she walked away like she's the devil. Yeah, like I said, I feel like that's how you got to sit there. That's how you got to sit there and deal with people. That's especially how well. That's how you got to deal with those type of women. So Domex says, I will say as much as I can that in the stages she's a good villain to put in front of characters like Shanice and Anita, who used to come from more humble beginnings. She's perfect for a dragon. Yeah, but see, there's one downside to that, right? There's one downside to that. It's good. There's just one downside to that. Is that we got to sit there and see her. Is that we got to sit there and see her and hear her mouth and have my blood all like fucking rising and shit. Like honestly, tell you the truth, I want to just reach inside the TV screen and smack the living fucking bejesus out of her. So like, but yes, other than that, it's good. It's good except for the fact that I want to sit there and do that. Autumn says both Deacon and Taylor are playing with fire. Deacon needs to grow some balls and tell Sheila he doesn't want to be with her anymore, and at least be honest. You know, Autumn, yes, I agree with that. Instead of stumbling through his words like he is in seventh grade or some shit. Like, I agree with that. But I also sit there and think that Rich has lost his goddamn mind. And I think that Steffi is a little bit too full of herself. And I want Taylor to sit there and humble her ass by being like, because let's be honest for a hot minute. Taylor does so much for other people. At some point in your life, you have to start doing things for yourself. And it sounds selfish, but you only live once. You only live once. At some point, you have to start putting yourself first. You have to put what you want first. You do too much in this life for other people. When are you going to start taking care of yourself? See, the one thing that the situation with Deacon with Deacon and Taylor and Leo and Dimitri and Lulu and Nathan is that you have to sit there and go for what you want because life is way too goddamn short. And you can't sit there and be worried about stumbling over other people's feelings. It doesn't make you an asshole for wanting what you want. It doesn't. That's that's uh, that's one of the things, because I'm watching these soap operas and stuff like that, and I'm just like, and I'm like, Leo, stop sitting there bullshitting. You know you want to sit there and be with Dimitri. Also, you need to stop acting like such an asshole to him. Like he is responsible for blowing up your marriage because clearly you had unresolved issues. But like you want to sit there and be with Dimitri. Stop feeling fucking guilty. Like yo, listen, it is what it is. Same thing with Lulu and Nathan. Y'all so busy sitting there tripping over other people's feelings, which again, I find that fucking stupid. Well, fucking retarded. Okay, you want to be together, just fucking be together. And with Deacon and Sheila, I mean Deacon and Taylor, you're playing with fire. Let it fucking burn. Taylor has done too much for everybody in that family. Put up with way too much shit in her life, not sit there and deny what she wants. That's the bottom fucking line. They got to be more strategic for how she uses her elitism. I think it's like I said. I think it's to get the fans riled up. You know, get them all riled up. You know. Yeah. Somebody sitting there writing Willow needs to go to jail. Yeah, you know what? Sonny also needs to go to jail too, and Sonny's not in jail. I'm not gonna lie. I love how people love to sit there and say that Willow needs to go to jail. Sonny has been killing people. Okay, so as far as I've been watching the show, year 2000, Sonny has been sitting there committing crimes for about 20 something years. I don't hear anyone sitting there saying Sonny needs to go to jail. Oh my God, I don't like Willow. Willow needs to go to jail. But Sonny and Jason, they just get fucking free passes, right? Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna lie, people are funny. And listen, I mean, Sonny is an entertaining character. Sonny is an entertaining character. Even though that I've learned about his whole dealings with Karen and, you know, him sleeping with a 17-year-old girl, him supplying her with candy. By candy, you know what I mean. Um, and it definitely did change my perspective on Sunny. I'm not gonna lie, CK, I'm surprised they still do sweeps week. I mean, I find the whole idea of whole like sweeps to be sweeps is kind of like Smith is saying that I'm gonna fuck up on all my homework, but I'm going to ace every single fucking test. That's what I feel like. It's like, well, as long as you do good on sweeps week, then you'll stay. And then like that's the whole fucking aspect. It's like, well, I'm just gonna sit there and do stories here and there, and sometimes that makes sense, and sometimes I just throw characters together, and sometimes I'll just sit there and just have a filler episode. But as long as I make sweeps week, ugh, still in the game. Maybe that's just maybe it's just a cynical part of me, but it's like this is why I just never really cared for sweeps week. It's like, so you're only gonna bother to sit there and put an effort for that one fucking month? Like really? You got 12 goddamn months and you're gonna put it you're gonna put effort into it a couple of times throughout the month? Really? I kind of tamed my expectations over the years of not every episode being a banger, but like if you're only gonna do fun shit and interesting and exciting stuff throughout that month, it sits there and says a lot. And it's not good. Not good. Now, it's actually really funny. I did not sit there. I'm not gonna lie, kind of low key sad that there's not as much alcohol in here. But you can still up. Oh, it is still up. Okay, cool. So yeah, if you're not a member, make sure you become a member. I haven't actually said, and I've been on for almost 2 hours. But yeah, if you're not a member, make sure you join. Click the description. No, click the pin comment and become a member. Um, the throwbacks has actually been pretty fun. Again, like back in the day, like when the soaps actually had a budget, they were able to sit there and go on location. I still remember, the whole Sunny and Bren storyline when they were in Miami. And I think I remember seeing a scene Lucy was actually in. And this is, it's unfortunate with Joss because I feel like, with the right budget, they can have Joss and Vaughn or whatever go on these different adventures and stuff like Robert and Holly. Which I honestly tell you, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like Robert and Holly don't get enough credit. People always sit there and associate Luke and Laura with saving the show, but there was a point that Luke and Laura wasn't on the show, and Robert and Holly were there to sit there and pick up the slack. And I actually think they did a really good job. And I don't feel like they get talked about enough. I don't know. That's just people get all swept up in the romance of Luke and Laura, but they tend to forget one big ass elephant in the room. And like at least Holly and Robert don't got that in their relationship history. Um, Yeah, Spiderquake. You know, it's funny. Yeah, well, here's the thing, Spiderquake. I'm loving the villain era. I think Chase is actually being a fucking hypocrite now at this point. You know, he had this whole, Captain America kind of attitude, and now it's like dudes that they're trying to set people up and shit. Like, he's doing a lot of unethical shit for a at one point very principle man. CK said, "Yeah, I remember Sunny and Brenda era. I like when soaps used to go on adventures. I remember when Lois and Brenda started L&B Records. Yeah, um, and it's also, obviously the soaps were different back then. Um, Little subtle things though, CK, is that they talk different. Also, I'm not okay. So with Sunny, Sonny's okay. Maurice Bernard acting and the Sonny character was a lot more different back then. Like in the '90s, he had way more energy. He was a lot more. Um, he said a lot more things back then that he doesn't say now. And I don't know if it's because of the era or like he doesn't want to be, or the character doesn't want to be canceled. But he used to say certain things back then that like he clearly does not say now. I mean, yeah, if he's doing some unethical shit, like I said, Spiderquake, I felt like he was out of pocket coming at Molly for um conflict of interest when he's had conflict of interest since day one. Like, bro, you're coming across as a hypocrite. Maybe. Well, she got. I mean, yeah, it's like she definitely got demoted, but like her ass could have been fired. I mean, let's be honest. Her, Portia ass could have been fired, and but I'm glad they didn't fire her. Not because I don't think that she deserved to be fired, but because like I don't need her trying to do something else, right? It's like when Alexis was like the editor of a newspaper. It's like, no, 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 let's not do this. Let's not have Alexis do anything else except for be a fucking lawyer. Like she's good at it. The actress that plays her is good at doing the whole lawyer thing. She was on Santa Barbara when she was a lawyer. So like, let's not sit there and start trying to like fuck that shit up. Let's not do that. You know. So I'm glad that she was still, you know, but it wouldn't have made any sense if she was still like chief of staff. You know. Yeah, he was a lot more edgier than he is now. He was more dangerous in the early '90s. Back when Tiger used to always harass him and Jason. Yeah, he used to. Yeah, exactly. Tiger used to always sit there and call Jason Angry Boy. Yeah. Um. That's the thing, CK. So like, and so that's the thing, CK. So like, in my when we do our member stream or whatever, we do like a lot of classic characters, right? Um. We did Sunny at one point. We did Scott. CK, let me tell you something. Scotty back then was there was times that Scotty was an asshole. Like Scotty was a real asshole. Like yeah, Scotty, goes off and every now and then, but like back then, like when he was a lord, oh my lord. So here's my thing, started with. I'm not on either one of them sides. I'm not on either one of them sides. Because let's be honest, Curtis, you can wait. What is getting a DNA test now as opposed to waiting later on gonna do? And Curtis is like, well, I gotta protect my interests. What the fuck does that mean you gotta protect your interests? What does that mean? I don't know why Portia is sitting there delaying this whole testing. She's talking about she wants to enjoy her pregnancy. Girl, I would sit there and think that it's more stressful not knowing who the dad is, how to sit there and go about your future moving forward. You're doing this whole delaying thing. I feel like that's more pressure, more stress, and more uncertainty towards you. So, like, I don't understand why you won't just sit there and take the damn test. But Curtis, you need to sit there and slow your goddamn roll. Okay? This isn't a situation. What do you mean he shouldn't have to wait? Okay, well, okay. Shouldn't have to wait. This is possibly his kid. If it's not, then waiting for the test will make Curtis more attached to the baby that might not be his. I get that part, but okay, quite quick. Let me just okay. I said this before, but I'm gonna sit there and say this again. This isn't the situation that he was in with Taggart, when for 20 something years he didn't know. I mean, it's not fair for him. What do you mean it's not fair for him? At the end of the day, Spider Quick, you have to sit there and understand two things. One, it's her goddamn body. Okay? She'll take, let's just be very clear, she'll take the test when she's good and ready. Okay? This whole court order thing is so out of pocket. And what's the goddamn rush? What is the rush at this point? He knows that the baby could possibly be his. So rather she takes it now or she takes it when she's ready, you're still gonna know. Calm your goddamn dick. It's not like you're going to find out. You know, this whole, oh, I can't sit there and wait. I can't sit there and wait. You're not 5 years old. Calm your goddamn dick. Yeah, they have a right to a point. Yes, Spider Quake. But like I don't understand what is the rush. I think that I honestly tell you the truth, I feel that Curtis is literally like being extra about this. Yeah, well, you know, it's like quick. I get it. You like to sit there and take sides, and that's fine. And yes, this is obviously a agree to disagree situation. Yeah, Scotty was a piece of work back in the day. He flipped out. He flipped his lid when he found out that Karen was his daughter, and was son. No, 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 CK. I'm talking about even. Well, I'm talking about even before that. I don't know if you saw this scene, CK, but like I did a whole commentary on it. This is when he found out that Laura got sexually assaulted by Luke. And he pretty much kind of went off on her. He went off on her. He victim blamed her. And he said a bunch of really nasty comments that I'm not even comfortable with saying. But like I said, yes, but we can definitely disagree. You know, calm your goddamn dicks, handle your emotions. At the end of the day, you're going to find out. You know, whether it's now or a couple weeks after, you're going to find out. Calm your goddamn dick. You keep, yeah, that's the thing, Spike Lee. You keep going with the whole like, he's going to be attached to the baby. He's going to be attached to the baby. Okay, well then calm your fucking emotions. You're a grown ass adult. It ain't hard to do. I do it every single damn day. Um, if you call handling that shit well, oof, well, you're not an adult yet. You got a lot to learn about being an adult. If you honestly sit there thinking the way that Curtis is handling things as well, that's a pretty low bar. Aiden, yeah. Again, I'm just surprised that people, listen, Spike. Quick. At the end of the day, that's him, and that's a him problem. You know, and that's the thing, Spike. Quick. That's basically what they're saying. Well, some people are immature, and some people are grown as adults. If you want to sit there and handle it like an immature person, no, fuck that. Immature goddamn teenager, then that's on him. You know. Um, but yeah, we're gonna agree to disagree. Um, I just think that he needs to calm his dick, understand it's her body, and this isn't the Taggart situation. You know that it could possibly be your fucking child. She doesn't want to take it right now. Yeah, it sucks or whatever. But calm your goddamn dick. You'll find out when you find out. And when you find out, then you can sit there and act accordingly. You want to sit there and get to attached to a baby that may or may not be on you, that may or may not be you, that may or may not be yours, and that's on you. I don't know, Spike. Like I'm just a very logical and surprisingly very pragmatic person. Um, and the fact that he sat there and said, "Well, I'm going to get a court order, so you're going to have to do," it's like, what the fuck? That's almost like the equivalent of Smith saying, "Well, you're going to sit there and give birth to that damn child, whether you want to or not." Like, I feel like it's not that, but I feel like it's on the same veins of like, well, the court order is Smith telling you to give birth to that child, so you're going to do it. Like, I can't like no. Here's the thing, Jonathan. I look at the whole Drew and Willow situation. I'm like, Willow, and I said this in my review. Willow, you better hope that this man does not regain any sort of motion. Because, you know, in my head, I'm sitting there thinking how this whole thing is going to play out. Like a damn life, no, I'm sorry, like a damn 90s Lifetime movie. When Drew like regains control of his body and stuff like that, girl, he's going to hunt you down. He's going to make your life a living nightmare. You just confess to everything that you did, and you think that once she like regains motion and stuff like that, the drugs start to wear off. You tell me that your ass ain't gonna be grass? I wish it would allow us to hear true stories while he's in lockdown mode while being. I'm not gonna lie, that would actually be interesting. That would actually be interesting because then at least we could sit there and get more than like Cameron Madison's like different expressions and stuff like that. You know, like I would sit there and say this in a Spidey quick. I'm just like, yo, listen, bro. I mean, listen, sis. You had outs. That was not your only way out to sit there and shoot Drew. Okay, people have sat there and told you, have sat there and said, hey, listen, we can sit there and help you. We can get you out of the situation. Nina, Chase, the family, Sonny. Oh, I'm pretty sure even Michael would have sat there and helped you out. The biggest thing that people have an issue with Willow is the fact that she won't take accountability for her going along with what Drew was doing. You know, Michael sat there and said, "Hey, listen, Drew's lying." What's good, Nick? Drew's lying. You know, And she chose to believe Drew over Michael. She chose to believe Drew over her own kid. But yet everything is Drew's fault. See, this is my whole thing with Ryan. Ryan can be over. Okay, GH fan. GH fan can be over the top, but he's not wrong when he's like, "Yo, listen, Willow does not take accountability for her actions. Everything was Drew's this and Drew's that, and it's Drew's fault for this and it's Drew's fault for that." What about you? Was you drunk the entire time? Willow consistently believed Drew about everything. It's like exactly DK's. I mean, CK is like, were you drunk the entire time? Do you have any sort of mental disabilities? No. Well, then let's not sit there and try to act like Drew just did stuff against your will. Like like listen. I am loving this. I am loving this Willow villain era. Right. I'm loving it. I'm here for it. And to be honest, like I said, when Willow's in her villain mode, she's kind of sexy. I'm not gonna lie. She's pretty damn sexy. But we're not gonna sit there and try to act like this is all Drew's fault. Because now you're starting to sit there and sound like Nina. This is the thing about Nina, Willow, and Nell. Everything is always everybody else's fault. It's Carly's fault. It's Drew's fault from Nina's point of view. It's Drew's fault from Willow's point of view. But it's never that person's fault. You know? Nina only rarely started taking accountability for some of the shit that she's done. And I don't know if it's a family gene or whatever it is, but like it's like accountability is like fucking kryptonite. Aiden says I can see Kai overhearing Willow telling Drew it's time for his medicine to keep him quiet, and he'll check out the medication when she's gonna maybe replace it or take it. Yes, I would love that scene. We thought that Chase is gonna sit there and find that shit out. We literally thought because here's the thing, I'm like, Chase, why are you just walking in Drew's house for with Willow's kid? What were you planning on doing that? He didn't hear the conversation, but the whole time I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing there? I don't know. Exactly. Miss Miss Camille. Um and honestly tell you the truth, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. By nicer guy, I mean absolute basuda. Like Willow now probably blame Brooklyn for forcing her. Yeah, thank you, Darby. Yes, thank you, Darby. Darby, I haven't been seeing you on Sunday stream. I'm not. Oh, by the way, I'm not streaming this Sunday, but next Sunday I will. And I haven't been seeing you on Sundays, Darby. Been in my stream for like an hour, and then like when we start doing like our showcase, I'm like, where the fuck is Darby? So I don't think I haven't noticed like you know sometimes you're not there during the second hour. Like, come on, bro. We're doing fucking Teresa from Passions. Like Passions. Not just my favorite soap opera ever, but like fucking Passions and Teresa. Oh, okay, I got you, Darby. All right, that's I understand that. Darby, I love Passions. I Chad, I love fucking Passions. Okay? Passions had the right amount of cringe, funniness, soap parody, in some extreme fucking characters, to put it mildly. By extreme characters, I mean like the worst versions of humanity. Like I said, people sit there and say that like Drew is bad and stuff like that. I'm like, some of the worst characters on Passions would put Drew to fucking shame. Make Drew look like he's the fucking Easter Bunny. When Passions go extreme, I mean ego. Passions go so extreme that even actors and certain actresses have sat there and said that like you go a little bit too far. I love ice cream, but I don't like cake. You do. I will do me. I don't know what that means. Okay, so CK knows about the the great Alistair Crane. Alistair Crane was like the worst parts of humanity. Anything that you could sit there and think of what Alistair Crane is, think about the worst aspects of humanity, the worst aspects of men, and think about a lot of them. And you pretty much have Alistair Crane, and I mean in every way. I mean, stop trying to recruit me into your passions call, Darby. Let me tell you something. You're gonna watch Passions, and you're gonna like it. Okay, I don't want. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's not a negotiation, darling. I don't know what you're thinking, but whatever it is, get that shit out of your head. What dress? What are you talking about? Oh, by the way, sometimes Darby likes to sit there and make up things or whatever. Um, sometimes at the work he likes to sit there and drink, and he starts sitting there thinking of stuff or misremembering things or whatever. He also likes to be, funny and stuff. He's a jokester. He's one of the jokesters in the group. So, I mean, Darby, listen, if you like to sit there and wear dresses, that's cool. Like I'm not here to sit there and shame you. That's cool. Oh, like dress. What are you talking about? Aubrey's good. No, I mean, listen, I'm not here. Okay, I will never kink shame. So, like, if dresses is your jam and that's what you like, that's cool. Listen, Darby, I'm here to sit there and support you and my members. So, you know, ain't nothing wrong with that, bro. You do you. Weird. He just kind of just came out of nowhere, like talking about dresses and shit. I'm like, okay, but I'm a nice guy at times. Okay, I mean, listen, if you want to wear a dress, that's cool. I don't, like I'm not here to sit there and tell you what you should or you shouldn't do. You do as the show Lucifer says. You do whatever desires you. Whatever you desire. That's your thing. That's cool. You know, you don't need nobody's permission. You do you, bro. What? That was an interesting conversation. All right, I should probably ask this is class up if you like the actor that played Brady. Yes, Brady. Yes, he was Ethan, and you had Luis, and now he plays Rafe. Um, hell, actually, to tell you the truth, Lindsay Hartley was on Days of Our Lives, and she played Ari, sister to Rafe. Um, so you had a lot of crossover. But anyway, I should probably get ready to go get something to eat and then go to sleep. Um, I don't want to like wake up at like fucking 12 again. Um, but I'll be back on Wednesday for everybody else. Members, I will sit there and see you tomorrow. Sunday is Super Bowl day, so I'm not going to be doing a stream on Sunday. But come through on Saturday, I will still be doing a stream. Yeah, but like I feel like I still need to eat something else, so I'm gonna make some franks and beans. Good old franks and beans. Um, that is correct, CK. She plays Sam. A lot of people like her as Sam. That's cool. But yeah, members, I'll be back tomorrow. We'll have fun, so definitely come through. And yeah, have a good time on Saturday. Everybody else, make sure you join, become a member. Be a lot of fun. Exactly, Darby. That's what I plan on giving to Cat Lady. Have a good night, Black Mom. Thank you for joining. Have a good night, Susan. Thank you for joining. It's always a pleasure to sit there and see you. Um, that's what Cat. Listen, Darby. That's what Cat Lady is going to be having. That's what I'm giving to Cat Lady. She's gonna have it, and she's gonna like it. Okay. Yes. Have a good night, Darby. My members, I will sit there and see you tomorrow. Have a night, CK. Thank you for joining. Always great to see you. Have a good night, Queen of the South. Have a good night, Cherry Ice Cream. Um, I know there was other people in here, but I've been drinking, so we just got that. Exactly, and Jaguar and Caper. Yeah, there's lots of nutrition and protein and franks and beans, and you know, so her having franks and beans will only be uphill. So trust me, I know what I'm doing. Yeah, Darby, I'll sit there and see you tomorrow. Hopefully, you get the chance to come through. And yeah, everyone have a great weekend. Unless hopefully I see you tomorrow. Laters.